Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show, and we are talking AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning and all those fancy things and how they will impact us as entrepreneurs. But before we even understand how they will impact us, we have to actually understand what they are. And the last segment we were speaking with Jess Dworcan, our AI specialist, on what is AI, what is artificial intelligence, and whether or not it's going to take our job, or perhaps it's going to improve our jobs, become a tool for us to use into the future. So Jess, like, what is the prognosis? Is it going to replace people's jobs?
I believe that it'll set apart the businesses that adopt it from the businesses that don't. So let's take an example of accounting firms. We're seeing a huge increasing need for AI in accounting, or tech in accounting. So the accounting firms that aren't finding a strategy now for 2024, they're going to be left behind by the accounting firms that do employ IT experts to come in and make algorithms that'll help them with their tasks. Same goes for law, same goes for health professionals. And so for the time being, it'll set aside those that use it and those that don't. Maybe taking our jobs away will be quite further away.
Okay, let's go to the progress that's happening. Last year, I think, I'm not sure when it was, you'll remember better than myself, I think it was March, the ChatGPT launched. When was it?
So ChatGPT launched at the end of 2022, in December of that year.
Okay, you're right. And so the whole of last year, we had ChatGPT, but then it's advanced.
So GPT-4 came out roughly middle of the year, and it completely set a new precedent for language models.
So what's the difference between, I'm assuming 3, or I heard it was 3.5, I still don't understand that. But
Okay.
what is the difference between what 3.5 could do and 4 could do?
So ChatGPT, which is the 3.5, and then GPT-4. So the difference between the two of them. Right now, GPT-4 has DALL-E 3 installed on it, so it has image generation capabilities which are quite advanced. It is better at processing logical equations, so give it a question which involves a lot of hoops and hurdles to get through, it'll do a lot better at that task. And I can give you an example of that. So when ChatGPT came out, it passed the bar exam, but when GPT-4 came out, it defeated 90% of people trying to pass the bar exam. So it was in that 90th percentile.
And that happened in 6 months?
That happened in 6 months. That happened in a very brief space of time. So this year we could see GPT-5 completely blow the water out of anything we could imagine.
Coming now to competitors, because I've also seen a lot of competition come out to the ChatGPT product.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about those, and what's the difference? Are they just all the same thing?
So we've seen Bard come out in 2023, which is Google's language model, and now Bard incorporates Gemini. Gemini is Google's most advanced AI model to date. It is multimodal, just like GPT-4, meaning it doesn't just generate text, it generates audio, it generates pictures, images, and it can interpret audio and it can interpret images as well. It does perform slightly better than GPT-4, but is it a GPT-4 killer? I don't think so, Allon. We also have Meta AI. They've introduced their own model, and continuously we are seeing more and more big companies adopt ChatGPT or language models into their own. And what we've seen with Microsoft is they now have Copilot, which employs GPT-4 into the product suite of PowerPoint, Excel, and I can definitely see a lot of that happening for more companies in 2024.
So how are these guys making money? So you say big companies are going out there. ChatGPT, as far as I understand, is free. So how are they making money?
So ChatGPT has a premium tier to access GPT-4. It's not available to the public, at least as of today, recording this with you. So that's $20 a month. But if, say, you wanted to employ a version of GPT-4, a chatbot on your website, for example, you wouldn't be interacting with that premium version. You'd be interacting with an API, And that comes at a cost of tokens, essentially how many words you submit to the API, and that will cost you. So, and it's relatively cheap in the sense, like 2 cents in dollars per 1,000 tokens.
So effectively where we're going is AI as a service. So I don't have to, obviously, I don't have the means to go and build my own model, but I can now rent that intelligence.
Yes, essentially, or per request, you could use the intelligence.
Okay. So now you say it's how many words, but what happens if I'm saying, write me a book like War and Peace?
Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is, what are the colors of the rainbow? It might have the same amount of words. One is going to have a hugely bigger output than the other. How do I pay the same for both requests?
I think you can just take advantage of the fact, yes, you probably would pay the same for both requests, and just take advantage of the fact that one is way more complex than the other. Yeah.
Okay, so now I have access as the normal entrepreneur through either a free or a premium site at what seems to be reasonable, $20 a month, to this AI. Am I going to now, we spoke about this in the last segment about replacing jobs. So how do I need to think about AI as a small business? Is it an additional expense? Is it going to knock out jobs? And so it's going to be a saving? Like, how do I need to be framing this in my head right now as a small business?
So depending on what industry you're in and where your business lies, it'll depend on whether or not you need to hire an IT expert to come in and create something bespoke for you, or just use the premium model of ChatGPT. For example, you may want a chatbot on your website, or if your website is a clothing store, you might want someone to describe their ideal t-shirt or dress in the search bar and have a model reflect that which you are looking for. So that is being currently used in the property sector, where you can essentially describe the ideal home that you're looking for, and the robot will come back with, here are these homes that you like, or that you could like.
Okay, so we're going to take a break now. When we come back, I'm going to get really practical, and I want to really get into how we're going to use it, how we're going to use AI in our businesses in 2024. Stay tuned.